The exit polls have given overwhelming majority for the BJP-JDS alliance here in Karnataka, with most of them giving not more than 3 to 5 seats to the Congress, which is in ruling in the state. Challenging this is Eedina. Just for context, Eedina is the only news agency, the only survey that predicted 137 seats in the assembly elections for the Congress party. Joining me now is Dr Vasu, who heads Eedina, and he challenges not just the numbers for Karnataka, but also the methodology that a lot of these exit polls have employed. But before I go across to him, a quick appeal from all of us. On the day of results, 5 news organizations, that's News Minute, News Laundry, Wire, Scroll and The Caravan are coming together once again to bring you analysis without agenda, without any kind of noise. If you like what we do, then do consider contributing to a joint election fund. And don't forget to join us from 8 AM onwards on all our platforms. I'll get straight to it. You are challenging the numbers put out by the exit polls. What is your number and why do you think they're wrong?
No, not just our numbers, but we are not here to challenge anybody. And each survey agency can have their own numbers. Somebody can be wrong and all can be wrong also. But we felt that we should challenge this basically for 2 reasons. One, when we saw these exit polls, of course, it was much against our survey numbers as far as Karnataka was concerned. But when we saw that a very important survey agency is saying that JDS and BJP will get 55% votes in Karnataka and Congress will get 41%. That was the time that we felt it is, so glaringly different than what we put out. And it is not just that we did only 2 surveys before election. 2 surveys were published. But even during elections, we conducted surveys. Of course, you are not supposed to publish it because there is a ban on it. You must publish all your pre-poll surveys 48 hours before the first poll. Okay. So that's why we had not put it out, but we had those numbers with us.
So to clarify to our viewers, you conducted surveys before the election, during the election?
Yes,
but
we conducted.
Exit polls.
No.
Yeah.
And during election also we conducted survey. That was when first poll, first phase in Karnataka was happening. Okay. And we also conducted a post-poll survey. Okay. It is not exit poll as such, but it was a post-poll survey. Right. And in fact, on first evening at 6 PM, the post-poll survey that we did, it got over and it took 1 day for us to get the data cleaned up and all that. So when we got that numbers, it was quite opposite to what was being discussed in the TV channels. So that made us to think about this and challenge the exit polls. The only apprehension or concern was that we know that media in this country is weaponized, and the initiation of Eedina was actually to counter that. So is it that even the polls, the exit polls or whatever, they are also being weaponized, was the question. Not that we suspect all the exit polls. We think that doing surveys and these polls is a scientific process. It's a science. Yeah. And it's also a democratic process because a lot of people, their voices are not heard. For example, even in this survey, when we are questioning that why there are only 15% illiterate people in your sample, basically we don't want to miss those who are not heard. And how many women were there in your sample? These are the questions that we want to ask. That is why Eedina actually ventured into this survey. Survey is in part of our original design of Eedina. So that's the reason we felt that no, we must challenge this, because not just that our numbers are correct and somebody else's number is not correct is not the issue.
It's a methodology as well.
Yes,
the sample that they've taken.
Yes. And after the final results, we'll have to go back to our numbers and check where we went wrong or where we were correct. Yes, we were wrong. And only if you keep on doing this, you will become more and more perfect. And even the so-called perfect agencies sometimes fail. After 10 years after perfection, they'll fail. That is quite possible. Yeah. So this is the reason that we wanted to challenge.
And this is for the entire country, right? The methodology, what you're talking about, how their total percentage of illiterate voters is less compared to the national average.
Yes.
The same holds for women voters. This is not Karnataka specific.
No, not Karnataka specific, but the numbers for Karnataka that my axis had put out. In fact, we must appreciate my axis because they are transparent in that sense that they have come out with what is their methodology. Because see, in methodology, there's a lot of things. If you are doing phone surveys through IVR calls, then that means you are excluding those who do not have phone and those rural people, mostly women, who cannot keep on pressing the button when an IVR questionnaire is put out there for them. So you are excluding them.
And there is also a little bit of suspicion if you get a call through an IVR.
Exactly.
So how
and if
honest
you
are people?
Exactly. And if you are putting 20 questions for them, do they have time and patience to answer all that? So that is where this methodology is important. If somebody is saying face-to-face survey, then we think that that is better survey. Not that you should not do an IVR call at all. We are not saying that. But that will tell you the quality of the survey. So my axis is putting it out, and they have also told you what is their sample size and what is the demography within it. So though they have not put out all the details for all the states, but overall they said they have said that 31% women are there in their sample. So that again raises questions. Because it is not that you will get 50% women and 50% men, and it is difficult to get women voters to respond to an unknown enumerator. But if it is say 42, 44, then you extrapolate it to 50%, that is fine. But when it is 31%,
gap is too much.
Gap is too much, and they have said in their note that they have extrapolated it to 50-50. But who are these 31% that you have spoken to in Chikbalapur, in Mandya, in Bidar, in Belgaum? Those questions come to us. So if that 31% belong to predominantly a certain cross-section of the society, and if you are extrapolating that number, then it is a problem.
Right.
Then you are not actually taking into account the opinion of, say, poor women, because you are all, more vocal people tend to speak to the unknown enumerators.
Right. Let's get on to the numbers then. What are the numbers that your surveys, your multiple surveys have thrown up on an average? And I want to know, what was your last survey? What are the numbers that came up?
Yeah, the first survey that we did in February, March, at that time Congress was ahead by 2%. It was 45-43. And the second survey, which was conducted in March, April, the survey got closed on 15th, and we put out the numbers on 16th. It was 46 and 44. Congress was ahead. Congress was a little more ahead, 2.5% ahead of BJP, JDS. So these were our numbers, and we said in the first survey, we predicted 17 and 11. 17 for Congress and 11 for BJP, JDS alliance. But Congress was not in a comfortable situation in the sense that more seats where Congress was ahead, they were very close. Out of 17, in 7 seats, Congress, the fight was very close.
Right.
But for BJP, they were comfortable in 10, and the fight was close only in 1. But in the second survey, more and more seats were very close. 12 seats were very close.
For the Congress only?
For both Congress and BJP. And though Congress had got more Congress had increased its vote share, but the definite seats came down to 9 from 11.
Right.
So this was happening. At the same time, then why did Congress got more seats? Because in the seats like, say, Dharwad, Uttar Kannada, or even Bangalore South, the fight came very close, and in those seats where Congress was 15% behind, it came to 2%.
Right.
So at this time we decided that we will also continue our survey, and during election we conducted survey, and it so happened that when we were doing this survey in Dharwad, Neha incident happened. So that unfortunate incident where the girl was killed. So there was a lot of discussion that may affect the election. So we conducted that survey, and in Dharwad And also we conducted in Chikkodi and North Canara, we came to know that there is a swing towards Congress. There is a wave of Congress, more in North Karnataka than in South, and more women are voting.
The Neha incident gave a push to Congress in North Karnataka.
No, I don't say that the incident gave that push, but it was
narrative.
No, the narrative did not affect much. So that is what we feel. But the wave was because of the guarantees.
Right.
So in all those areas where there's more backwardness, poverty, poor people, oppressed communities, they were favoring Congress more. So this was clear to us. And even in our post-poll survey, Congress was 2% ahead, but when we put it out yesterday, it was still raw data, so you'll have to work on that little more. But anyway, it was not that Congress was far behind BJP JDS alliance. So that actually brought suspicion. But even in that case, there can be difference in different polling agencies. But the question there is, in the sample, my axis says that 15% of the respondents in their survey were those who were illiterate, who did not go to school. Then this question had come to us for a different reason in our survey, that see, when a survey is over, when you conduct survey in scientific random sampling, you don't go by say, we will select 50% women. We do not do that. But we go by the voter list. And once the survey is over, if you come back and see, if women should be at least 45%. And Muslim should at least be 12 to 13%. SC should be at least 16, 17, 18%. Then the sampling is good. Okay. So similarly, those who are in the age group of 18 to 25, it should represent the that population that is there in the society, right? Similar. So somebody looked at our numbers and said, there are 26% illiterate people in your survey. And they looked at the data. In Karnataka, it is 26% who are not into schools anytime. So it is more in North Karnataka. For example, in Kalburgi, it is 35% plus. In South Karnataka, it is less. But Karnataka being a relatively developed state, you will have more. But when we know that the data is 26% in Karnataka, at the all India level, you are saying 15%. And poor people vote more in India. In America, it is rich people vote more, but people have stakes in these elections here. So they tend to vote more. So you are almost not taking into account 50% of those the voting illiterate, probably poor and from the oppressed communities. Then we raise these questions and challenge the exit polls. Of course, here we must again appreciate and congratulate my axis, because they are transparent to that extent. But other people, or not even, they don't care for putting out these numbers. Yeah, that is very important, because this is science. We shouldn't make it only a business. Of course, there will be some business part into it. We feel that this is a democratic process, and surveys, I mean, we don't think that exit polls are necessary, because the election is over. In the next 3 days, you will get the result. But pre-poll is something else, because like those who have money, machinery and all that, they can put out to the public and convince people that the interest of few industrialists and or rich people, that is the interest of the entire nation. So putting out what are the concerns of ordinary people, farmers, Dalits, women, these are important. So that is why this democratic process much before election is important. So that is why we are in this work.
But again, you're saying that all your surveys have shown that Congress is way ahead, both in vote share and seat share.
Yes, not in the sense, not a very big gap, but 2% ahead. In assembly election, Congress was 7 to 8% ahead of BJP. It is not like that. BJP and JDS alliance has worked, and it has, I mean, they have come closer to Congress, but Congress has this edge in Kannada.
What about the seat share?
Seats, sorry?
The seat share, what you said 2% is the vote share? Or
vote share, yeah. The seats, I told you that Congress will get 13 to 18 in Karnataka, and BJP, JDS alliance will get the rest of the seats.
So let's just look at what in your surveys showed the factors that helped Congress in the state. What are the factors?
So I've been saying this, that there is a static wave of Narendra Modi. When I say static wave, that means that Narendra Modi, when I say Narendra Modi, it is Narendra Modi, RSS, whatever fake Hinduism that they are putting out. So, and the media hype, everything, they have consolidated 35%. But what is not being considered is Narendra Modi also consolidates 30 to 35% against them.
Right.
So this is not just Muslims. This is certain section of poorer section, a section of farmers and Dalits and OBCs.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Well, that is quite obvious, and in Karnataka, even in assembly, we saw this, that even poor Okaligas, Lingayats and Brahmins vote for Congress and rich Dalits vote for BJP. So it's a caste polarization. It is not just a caste polarization, it is also a class polarization. And in Karnataka, more women tend to favor Congress because of the welfare program that they are putting out, and women feel the burden of price rise more. And in our surveys, people have felt that BJP is more responsible for price rise. Okay, so these are the reasons why this polarization we see.
Guarantee scheme, inflation, and a negative image of Modi in certain sections has helped Congress.
Yes.
Let's look at then the alliance.
But there's one more point that we've felt that there is no additional wave of Narendra Modi.
Okay.
I'm saying there is a static wave.
Yes.
So, and there is no additional wave, so that BJP will sweep. That additional wave was there in 2019. It was also there in 2014. That is not there now.
What changed?
So 2019 was an entirely different election. So it was actually, post Pulwama and Balakot. There was a wave of hyper nationalism, and the Congress just did not know how to respond to it. And in fact, I feel that in Karnataka, Congress and JDS alliance, they just did not fight an election at all. For example, certain seats were given to JDS, and JDS said, we don't have a candidate for Bangalore North, so you take it back. Chikmagalur, Udupi, we do not have a candidate, so give us a candidate from Congress. Pramod Madhavraj came from Congress to JDS to contest election. That was the kind of electioneering that they were running that time. So it was not an election of that sort. But this time, Congress did it better. So when that is the scene, and you already have implemented guarantees, women are voting more in favor of you, almost 12% more than men in favor of Congress. So then numbers like this, 41 and 55, that surprises you.
Right. I want to now look at JDS and BJP alliance. Do you think it has worked better than Congress JDS alliance worked in 2019?
Definitely.
It has.
It has.
Tell us what.
Well, both JDS and BJP are in anti-Congress space in Karnataka. You can see that there are more number of seats in which Congress and JDS fight and Congress and BJP fight. There are very less number of seats like Devdurga, Tumkur Rural, Dasaralli in Bangalore, where it was BJP versus JDS fight. After this alliance, most of them have joined Congress. Gauri Shankar in Tumkur Rural and Manjunath in Dasaralli have joined Congress. But if you see in Mysore district, for example, all the three parties are there. But you don't find a single constituency where JDS is fighting BJP. So it is an anti-Congress space. So the voters do not have this confusion. They are voting against Congress. So, and even in our survey, we found out that almost 93% of voters of BJP and JDS are happy with the alliance.
Right.
So it has worked for them.
Unlike what many people thought, they are more suited, more natural alliance than Congress.
Yes.
Right. Ideology is not a matter.
Well, what was the ideology of JDS in that sense? So, yeah.
It's a party that claimed to be secular.
No, it was secular, and Mr. Devegowda actually associated with Congress and other secular parties even when he became Prime Minister. Yes. He did not go with BJP in 2004. But after 2006, when Kumaraswamy joined with BJP, whatever things Devegowda is saying that he was not happy or anything. But after that, that secular ideological thing is not there. And even when they say that they are pro-farmer, this country witnessed a very big farmers movement. And at that time, JDS took a stand against them, though in open they said they're in support. But when the bill came in Legislative Council, when BJP was in power, actually they favored BJP's formula. So they don't find that ideology, but still it was seen as a sort of regional party, a pro-farmer and yeah, things like that. But now you don't find it. Not that every party will follow their stated ideology. There is one ideology, even Congress. They say that they are for the oppressed communities, but who are the leaders generally? The leaders are mostly from the dominant and upper caste. So the irony you could see in Madhya Pradesh. Rahul Gandhi was repeatedly saying caste census in Madhya Pradesh assembly elections. And the leader in Madhya Pradesh assembly was Kamal Nath, who was a Brahmin, who never, not even once mentioned caste census.
I want to ask you about one seat. I know you don't want to talk about individual seats, but there's a lot of curiosity around Prajwal Revanna, given what has happened, the crimes that he's committed, allegedly. Now, do you think he's winning in Hassan?
Actually, the perception in Hassan, the public perception when you speak to the influencers, was against Prajwal much before this incident. And it was favoring Shreyas Patel, but not the numbers. Numbers in our survey favored Prajwal much more than Shreyas Patel, and Congress also did not fight that election properly. There is no big leader in Hassan who can take responsibility of fighting that election, and the district in charge minister is not from Hassan, he is from Tumkur. So there are things like that. Compare it with Dharwad, for example. So Dharwad, there was a strategy in fielding a particular candidate from OBC community, and the district in charge minister is a Maratha and he wanted to fight this election. There was nothing like that in Hassan for Congress. So though the public perception at that time, everybody was saying that Prajwal will lose, our numbers were saying something else. But anyway, this incident happened, and I mean these pen drives came out probably on 21st, 22nd, election was on 26th. So how far did it reach the ordinary voters to make them a decision against Prajwal Revanna? We yet to see. We'll come to know that tomorrow.
Okay. My last question is, many people are talking about what will happen to JDS after this, right? Because if the vote transfer does happen, like you say it has happened, does this mean there is a threat to the very existence of JDS after this?
Yes, definitely. Maybe Kumaraswamy felt that this alliance was necessary for the immediate existence, but in the long run, JDS won't remain as a political party, because BJP very clearly knows that without capturing the South Karnataka, they cannot form government independently in Karnataka. BJP has never formed government in Karnataka with clear majority. So they actually had a very good package when Yediyurappa became chief minister for the second time. Very junior most minister Ashwath Narayana was actually made number 2 as deputy CM. He is from Okkaliga community, and Kempegowda statue was built in Kempegowda authority or Okkaliga development board got big money, and they also wanted a communal narrative. So they created this Urigowda Nanjegowda fictional characters. So it was a comprehensive package. They deployed RSS cadre in this area more. And in 2018, though they helped JDS, they fielded very weak candidates. But in 2023, actually they fought JDS.
Seriously?
Yes, that is how, in spite of losing the election, BJP retained its vote share of 36% because it got more votes in South.
Yeah.
Okay, so they wanted to capture that. Now they want to capture even now. They have no love for JDS at all. But the route of capturing is not fighting against them, but fighting with them. So now the Prajwal Revanna episode is a boon for BJP. Yeah. So after that, probably they'll start from Hassan and then finish off JDS.
Right. I thank you very much for joining. We will come back to you with what the results throw up so we can compare the numbers.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to talk to you. Yeah.
This election season, your right to choose puts you at the heart of it again.
We'd like to be your eyes and ears. Choose the journalism and media that serves democracy and you.
Simply head on to newslaundry.com/subscription and pick up the TNMNL joint subscription of your choice today.